Welcome to the Walking in Aloha Let's Talk Story podcast, the podcast where we share powerful stories of faith, resilience, and rising into your God given potential through the Aloha Always framework and through the messages that my guests have to bring. Like I said, I'm your host, Michelle Ivalo Rosa Kawano, MAGEK for short. That is my initials. And today we have an extraordinary guest whose life is a true testament of what it means to rise beyond limits. Joining us today is Nancy. I'm going to mess up your last name. Langevin. Okay.
Longevin, but that was very close.
Langevin.
Longevin.
Okay. Keynote speaker, best-selling author, certified high performance coach, and creator of The Art of Flying. Live Limitless. I love that. Fly Higher. Nancy is also the author of The Flip Side of Despair, where she shares her powerful journey of overcoming adversity, including life threatening health challenges, and transforming pain into purpose. From international elite athletics to science, coaching, and global impact, Nancy's work bridges mindset, movement, and meaning, helping people rise beyond fear, perform at their highest. So good, so needed in the world today. So Nancy, mahalo for being here. We're so honored to have you.
Thank you.
So honored to have you. How are you today?
I'm doing great. The honor is mine. Such a pleasure to be here, and I can't wait to share my story in the hopes that somehow it helps somebody.
Thank you so much. You have such a powerful and multi-dimensional journey from elite athlete to scientist, coach, and author. Can you share a little bit more about your story and what led you to create the art of flying and your mission to help others live limitless and fly higher?
Well, my journey, I think that it can be summarized in three words: performance, perseverance, and purpose. And I was born and raised in Mexico City, a multicultural family. My father was from Mexico, my mom was from the United States. And from a very young age, it was taught to us that you always try to do your best, you perform at your best. So that was ingrained in us initially through academics, but then I discovered the love of gymnastics. And it was such a passion of mine. Going to the Olympics became my dream. I started to train hard, move forward, always getting good grades because if my father basically said, if you don't get straight A's, you're out of gymnastics. He really focused on academics. He was a very successful physician and had high hopes there for me. So I got straight A's. I just had to do what I had to do to keep on going. And I made the national team, gymnastics national team. I was on my way, one step at a time, and then I broke my back. And that really set me back. It seemed like gymnastics was over. Both the physicians and my parents were saying, that's it. But I had a different answer to that. I knew that it would take a long time to get back up, but I was willing to do the work and just try to be patient, moving up little by little. And somehow made again, I was back again on the national team. And this time I was selected to the World Championship team, which was one step away from the Olympics. So here we were, so excited, ready to go start making plans. We were going to go to a camp in Bulgaria, and the World Championships were in Hungary. So everything was set, and then the government halts all international travel. So just like that, my dream was crushed. And I just learned from a very young age, and that's where perseverance comes into play, that we're all going to be hit with some sort of adversity, and it's up to you whether you want to rise and keep on going forward. If that truly means a lot to you, you have that capability of doing so. And it did to me. So what do I do now? So I decided to come to the US and compete in college. So I was awarded a gymnastics scholarship and finished my degree, moved to France to do an internship. Life was good. I met my back then husband, had two beautiful, amazing children. Life was great. until about 10 years ago, I was discovered that I had a brain aneurysm. And again, life just suddenly crushed me. Like, what do I do? Because anytime that it has to be with your brain, you think, what if this is it? There was a possibility of me dying. And my surgeon said, we need to operate, but there's no hurry. Take your time, think about it. And in my book, when there's something that has to be done, you take care of it then. I don't postpone, I just get it done. And thank God that I listened to that inner voice, that intuition, that to me, that was God saying, don't wait, do it. And it was caught on its way to rupture. So they operated, and I'm still remembering that day when I'm opening my eyes, waking up in ICU, and the surgeon who told me that I could wait said, I am so glad we operated. It literally had grown so much more and it was on its way to rupture. So, one of the lessons that I try to really instill in people, don't, if you have a feeling that something is not quite right, that's your intuition. And to me, that's God, the universe, whatever. I know that everybody has different faiths, but to me, that's God speaking, and really listen to that voice. So, long story short, a few months later, my husband, we got through the first surgery, right? So my husband decided that he no longer wanted to be married. We had been married for 25 years. So that was another huge crush. And I was just going through day by day, trying to figure out, where do I go now? What do I do? And then suddenly we found out that I had to have another brain surgery. The first one had been unsuccessful. And I know that we all go through adversities. Some people more difficult, more challenging, more powerful than others. But it doesn't matter because it all affects us the same way. And it's what we do with that. And that's where your perseverance, that willingness to not just, or resilience, right? Not just give up, that there's something greater on the other side. So somehow, yes, more, get through the pain, but get through it because there's something great on the other side. So it really became the third word that I spoke about earlier, that purpose. I discovered that my purpose in life wasn't just about achieving, getting a scholarship or going on the national team or going to the Olympics. It was more about contribution and service, living with purpose on what truly meant the world to you. And to me, I have discovered through all this pain that helping people rise is what really lights my soul. And I have a passion for animals and helping animals. And every time that, again, that adversity hits, like, listen, there is an animal there waiting for you to do something about it. So that just keeps fueling me to go forward and helping people rise.
That is so good. Just hearing, even in this short, all the things that you've already went through, came through, and seeing you now today with what you're doing. And yes, serving from that place where I can understand. Because
Mhm.
now, like when you do that, when you're serving from that place, there's so much empathy when you see people, and like you said, you love to care for animals. It's because they can't speak for themselves.
Absolutely. And there are a lot of
Yeah,
people, also our senior citizens, that perhaps they're
right.
in a bad situation where they can't speak up for themselves. So there's so many people who are suffering, whether it's animal, senior citizen, the bullied, the oppressed. They just feel like they don't have a voice. And I feel like that has become my responsibility. God gave me a second and a third chance for a reason. So I have to do something about it. And I do it with just such pleasure too, because just seeing somebody, just when you lift somebody up, when you speak up for them, it just really it fills my soul with joy. So that really is my purpose, and that's why I'm here.
That is so good. And that is why I created this platform. It's so that people's voices can be heard, the things that they're doing can be heard. Because there's a lot of people out in the world that they're doing so much good, but who's noticing, who's celebrating them, who is bringing their voices out to the world? Maybe the people in their circle knows, but what about sharing it with the world?
Yeah,
And
that's why
so,
what you do is so important because you help all of us just spread. And it really, it's all about working together to make this a brighter and better
yeah,
world. So together we rise.
right. Yes, together we rise, like they said, right? When the tide comes in, all ships rise. So,
Absolutely.
yes. So, with the Aloha Always framework, it's a framework that I use and I've shared it now with people all over the world. I've shared it with people in Australia, in Africa, in Egypt, literally all over the world. And I never expected to go this far, but God knows more than what we do, and his ways are so much higher than ours. So when I said, how am I supposed to do that? I am but one person in the middle of the Pacific Ocean. I live here in Hawaii. How am I to reach the world? And through this platform and through the Aloha Always framework that I share, that is the one thing that ties all of my guests together, because they find that they have been walking in Aloha in their own way. I prayed for God to help me through my journey. And when I was writing my book, um,
Mhm.
the voices, not the voices of Aloha, that was another book. That was 3 and 4. The first book is Walking in Aloha, 5 steps to living your God potential life. And I said, I never knew, I never know how to, I didn't do this before. You need to help me. I don't want it to be just a rehash of all the bad things I went through. I can't have that happening, because how is that going to help anyone?
Mhm.
Right. And so God said, I gave you everything in aloha. And being born and raised here in Hawaii, I know what aloha is. We live aloha. It's just not a hello, goodbye greeting thing here in Hawaii. It's the way we live. And when I was like, so I don't understand. And I started writing out everything God did for me and
Mhm.
walked me through. And that was the affirmations and actions that I had to pull myself through: the leadership and love, overcoming obstacles, health and healing, and acute awareness. And like I said, now I get to share that with the world. Such a blessing. But as we go through, I would like to ask you questions on how you walk through aloha. And so
Mhm.
the first A in aloha is affirmations and actions. And I say affirmations are just great words put together unless there is some action behind it.
A
So,
1,000%, not even 100, 1,000%. Absolutely.
yes,
Mhm.
exactly. So those small aligned actions unlock big breakthroughs in your journey, from adversity and self-doubt and to elevation and momentum. What were the affirmations or truths that helped you rise when everything felt uncertain?
The number one affirmation and reminder that I give myself every time that I'm going through a hard time is God has your back. Just
Oh,
knowing that you're not alone going through this. If I'm like, oh my gosh, I don't know how to get through this problem, God has your back. So knowing him, I feel him in the back here, like, come on, get ready and go. Also, that when your light shines, God smiles. So it really goes always back to God. That I feel that at the end of the day, I want to make him proud, right? So when my light shines, because I truly believe that every single human being has a light. And some of them are completely out, some of them are just flickering very gently, and some of them are bright. So every time, again, when despair, when adversity, challenges crush you, you just feel that that's turned off. Like, hey, you want to make God proud, just make your light shine brighter. And I don't know about you, but when I'm in a walk into a room, sometimes you just feel that people come in and it's bright. You just feel warm and happy. Something about their light. And some other people, they just almost make you feel like sad and down. So I want to be somebody, and I remind myself of that. Be somebody who lights up other people. So it all always comes back to light and in God. And one of the biggest things that I always go by, and I think that my father is who really pushed me to do that: never ever give up. And I know that sometimes a dream is just, for example, me going back to gymnastics at my age, there's no way that could happen. But there are other possibilities. So don't give up on your dream of athletics. There's master's athletics. So I got involved with that. So never ever give up. God always has your back. And then when your light shines brightly, God smiles. Those are the biggest thing. But remember that you have the power within. It's all about that light and power. It's always there for the asking.
So beautiful. I love it.
My
God has
pleasure.
your back,
Mhm.
and yeah, I always say you're never alone, right? You're never alone. God is by your side. So
And
yeah,
I think
God
that
has
we
your
need
back.
to
That is
really
amazing.
talk about that because so many people, unfortunately, they go through divorce or someone dies in their family. And at some point or another, we're all going to feel so lonely and alone, right? But when you start thinking that you're really not alone, just feel that light and know that God is with you, walking along with you, helping you. All you have to do is just get in silence and really go deep within and ask for guidance. And that was what really saved me as I was going through my divorce and the aneurysms. Really, just going to that place where God, please show me the way, and He did. And suddenly here I am.
So good. So your work emphasizes live limitless, fly higher. I love that. Live limitless. We as human beings put so much limits on ourselves sometimes. So, what are some daily actions people can take to begin stepping into that level of high performance and purpose?
A lot of times people, when they hear high performance, they get intimidated. I have had several of my clients that when they show up to their first class with me or our first meeting, oh my gosh, I'm so nervous. Don't be nervous. This is exciting because we're going to get to that higher level. And high
Mhm.
performance is not just going from 0 to 1,000. It's just taking those, you were talking about action, but small intentional steps forward in the right direction, right? So I begin and end my day every time or every single time with gratitude. As soon as I open my eyes, even before I open my eyes, like, thank you, God, for another day. Just feeling that gratitude deep inside just sets you up for success. And I begin and end the day. My last very thought is, I thank you for another day. And I try to think of something. Maybe that day was horrible, and I feel like, how is this going to solve or get better? I just think of maybe for the roof on my head, for that sweet pet that is always waiting for me. I work in a hospital at night. I walk in and he's always there waiting for me. So something that is minor, when you fill your heart with gratitude, beginning of the day and end of the day. So that is my first thing. The next is movement. For me, exercise, and it should be for everybody, exercise is so important. And it doesn't have to be training 5 hours or for a marathon. Just simple. Just go for a walk, stretch, just whatever you can do, move, because it's not only good for you physically. We all know the research is so good for the mind as well. It really gives you clear focus. And I can tell you that in my darkest moments, I used to not like to go running, but I discovered that I do. I just go out, and when I can't run because I've had a few injuries, I would just walk or jog. And just being out there, your mind clears up and all these solutions start coming back. So, movement, training, whatever you can do, always try to do a little bit more. Wherever you are, if you're all the way down to the bottom, like I was when I broke my back, okay, I try to go up a little bit more, little by little. And journaling is very important. Either in the I try to do both, and it doesn't have to be a long paragraph. Just simple writing at the beginning of the day. What are my priority things that I have to get done? Because you start your day with intention. You get clear as to what needs to happen today to move forward. So to get to that high performance, that's all we have to do. Get clarity, get alignment, surround yourself with all the people that support your dream, and start making moves in the right direction. It's simple. And you start with one little step, and then it starts getting faster, faster, just like a snowball. It just grows, and then suddenly you're flying higher than you ever did before.
So great. Those small intentional steps. I know that I have a hip replacement. And so I know that even if it's like a little bit painful, if you just continue with those small
Right.
incremental steps,
Whatever you
it
can.
gets better and better and better. So yeah, in the beginning, starting anything, you're going to be a little bit uncomfortable. You're going to feel a little bit out of whack, but continue and continue. And like you said, it builds, right? It builds up to where you need to be. And like you said, you'll be flying high in no time.
And it's a
So,
great analogy of somebody going to the gym and I want to get like big, strong muscles. It doesn't happen in one day. You go the first day, you work out, and probably that excitement, that motivation is still there. So you go all out. The next day, you're so sore, like you're talking about. You get super sore and you're thinking, oh, maybe I'll skip today, I'll go tomorrow. So, but that's how you're going to get to that end point, at that end goal, by just repeating little by little and not giving up. Never ever give up, because you know that you have to go through the pain, you have to go through the growth, but on the other side is going to be whatever vision you choose to have.
yeah. So good. So good. I love it. So L in Aloha, the L is for leadership and love. Leadership begins in the mirror. So you've led at least at I can't even say it, elite levels in athletics, science, and coaching. How has your understanding of leadership evolved through both success and struggle?
It has completely transformed. As I was growing up, you thought of a leader, or I thought of a leader as somebody who's the strongest, the most powerful, the most with the most authority. And I have realized, as you go through the years, as you go through struggles, first of all, we're all the same. Our value is the same. In the eyes of God, me, you, the president, it doesn't matter. We're all the same. So we all have the same value. But as you begin to lead other people, you have to be willing to grow, because you're never at a place where you're here and everybody else is below. It's all working together. So you have to be willing to grow and learn from others. And you have to be willing to work together, because that's how you achieve greater success. Every single human has a different gift, and by you not just imposing, this is what I want to do and that's how it's going to be done, but by you, it's a collaboration. By you working together with all the people in your team, all of you bring your gifts and you just achieve much greater success. So I think that leadership has evolved from, again, being the most successful to more of a service, contribution, and teamwork. And because together we can create much greater impact.
So good. I was in a place where I was like 225, 250 at one point, and through all of my struggle, through all of the hard times that I went through, I was like, I am done. I need to take care of myself. I need to make a change. And so I did it, and I went down to 135.
Hmm.
Because I did that,
That's
people were
amazing.
asking people were asking how I did it, right? They were asking questions. I want that result kind of thing. And so, but I wasn't in that place of service. I was like kind of mean. I was kind of like, it took a
Just
lot,
me.
that feeling, right? Like, it took a lot. There's no more excuses. There's no more, you know, waiting. There's no more nothing. You need to make that decision and you need to make it now kind of feeling, because it's not going to change if you keep making those excuses. And that's how I felt. And so when people were asking me that, I didn't have that in me yet. Now I do. But back then, I was like, well, you need to get off your A and get to work.
Yeah, and also I have been through that it makes you so frustrated, because you know that you can help somebody as a coach. you know I always see the potential in people, and I know
Yeah.
where they are now, perhaps stuck, and I know where they can be. I'm like, I am ready to take you there, but they have to be ready. And if they're not ready, it doesn't matter what you do or what you give or how you show up, it's not going to go anywhere. So my job at that point is just showing patience and kindness and
Mhm.
compassion. And just whenever you're ready, I know without a shadow of a doubt that I can get you to a much higher level when you're ready. And they
Yeah.
will come back. Sometimes they do come back. And sometimes it takes a little longer. Some people, they just needed a week to readjust, but some other people need a little bit longer because we all have to go through our growth curve in a way. We have to
Mhm.
get through that to a point that, okay, I'm ready to go. Not everybody's ready. So,
Yeah. Yeah. That's what I had to learn. And I had to humble myself and give those apologies because I was like, I was pretty hard, and it's just because I came from that place of I know what it took for me to get here. If you want to be here, this is what you're going to have to do. But
mhm.
not everyone is ready. Like you said, we don't all walk the same walk. We may not had, the same background, the same things that drive us now. Maybe they didn't have that. And you
Well,
don't know
with
until,
your kids, right? With your
yeah,
kids as parents, I know you can do this, and I want you to do this because you see their potential. You know, on the other side,
yeah,
but they have to get there on their own timing. And I remember my daughter telling me, "Mom, I need to make my mistakes, and I need to learn my. You can't just give me all the answers. I need to fail." Basically, it was that I need to fail and learn on my own to get there. And she was right, and it was a lesson that I had to learn. I'm an Aries and I'm not very patient, and I can see their success. I can see their potential, and I want to help so badly. But that's a lesson that I had to learn, that you have to slow down and go at everybody's pace, and eventually I will get them there. I am not going to give up, but I just have to do it in a different way. So I have evolved a little bit in that sense.
yeah, yeah. So have I, which is good. God is
Mhm.
a God of
We're
grace.
growing.
So,
Yeah, we're always growing. Yes.
yeah. So in high performance spaces, people often feel pushed, like often push hard, but forget about that self-love. Like,
Mhm.
you can do everything for everyone else, but you forget about yourself sometimes. How do you teach others to lead with both excellence and compassion? And we talked a little bit about that just now.
Well, and as women, we have a tendency, right? As moms, we have a tendency to do everything for everybody else, making sure that everybody's well. But we forget, and I have been guilty so many times about that. We forget, and honestly, I didn't learn that lesson until probably a few years ago. That you have to put yourself first, because if you're not doing well, and that's what I try to teach people, if you're not doing well, you're not going to be able to help others. Just like when you work at an airport, right? When you're in an
Yeah.
airplane and they drop the mask and they say put it you first, my first tendency, no, I want to save my kids or the other people. But if you're not right, if you're not okay, you're not going to be able to help others. So always remember that you matter just as much as everybody else, and that you have to take care of yourself, not just physically but also mentally, emotionally, and personally, who you surround yourself with. So learn about self boundaries, learn about setting up boundaries for other people too, right? And that was a hard one for me to learn, but slowly getting there. And again, it's a work in progress. It's not like I did it once and I'm done. You have so many years of recordings in the back that you need to retrain
Yeah.
your brain. But now we know, all the scientific research shows how neuroplasticity, your brain can learn again. So little by little, again, we talked about the repeating, right? You just keep on going, going, going. So then a new pathway will form in your brain, and before you know it, you're just doing amazing things. So remember
Yeah.
to take care of yourself first. Give yourself compassion, kindness, and work on that mental aspect. That mindset is huge.
Yes. Mindset, I've helped people through things, coach people through things, and I always have to go back to that where mindset matters. It's that mindset. If you want to get forward, if you want to move, sometimes that's the first thing you need to work on is changing that mindset.
Oh,
You know, renewing the
I
mind, right?
believe,
Renew the mind. That's what it says in the
yeah,
Bible, even.
mindset is the single most important thing because you can be,
Yeah.
let's go back to athletics. You can be the best athlete physically, but if your mind is not there, you're not going to get there anywhere. So you really have to work on shifting the way that you see things, how you speak to yourself, how you visualize things. Mindset is the single most important thing.
Yeah. Especially like what you just said, how you speak to yourself,
Mhm.
you know, because how many times you're talking your own self down or you're saying, oh, you're almost like planting those seeds, like, oh, nobody would ever want to hear what I have to say, so why do it anyway? Okay, never mind. You just planted that in your own self. Nobody was there telling you that. You just told it to yourself.
You've said it
So yeah.
so many times throughout your whole life that again, there's a pathway there that is already preset. However, we can create a new one, right? By just so
Mhm.
you really awareness is very, very important. Being present and aware as to what is happening, listening to that mind of yours saying that you're not good enough. Who would ever listen? It's too late. And this is actually what I speak about. My speech is about mindset gravity and all those thoughts, when you look at that as gravity, we know with planes, there is gravity. That's a physical force, right? It brings you down, but it can be overcome. Look at this humongous, massive, so heavy thing that flies up in the air. The same goes for us. For us, that mindset gravity are all those thoughts that hold us back, whether it's too late or this is how my life is going to be or you get a new diagnosis. Oh my gosh, I'm never going to be able to fill in the blanks. You can. All you have to do is gain clarity again as to where you are now, really realize this is my current situation, but get clear as to where you want to go, and then align with that, and then just start taking steps, actionable, purposeful steps forward and upward. Not just forward, getting back to where you were, but always going up.
That is so good. So good. So overcoming obstacles. The O in aloha. Your voice is a weapon, not a wound. And I always say, never forget your voice. Your voice is your superpower. And when I speak of voice, I don't just mean your physical voice, I mean like your expression. Because people voice their expressions in different ways. It could be dance, it could be music, it could be art, it could be, you know, winning that next game, whatever. That's their thing, their expression, right? So your book, The Flip Side of Despair, speaks to deep adversity. What helped you mentally and spiritually shift from despair into resilience and purpose?
When I was going through the brain aneurysm in the divorce that my ex-husband left, I just hit rock bottom. I was taught to get back up and keep going, keep going, keep going. But I was like a hamster just rolling around, go, 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 go. I tried salsa classes. I did more tennis classes. I got another job. I was staying busy, but I was really not addressing the real problem. And my problem was that I felt that I had all the answers and I could control things, and I didn't. So one night I woke up at, still remember as if it were just yesterday. I woke up at 3 o'clock in the morning and I sit on the bed and I'm sobbing, just crying. And I'm trying to give forward and I can't. I feel so depressed. I had a beautiful home, my two beautiful children that are doing so well. I had two jobs that everything was going great on the outside, but inside I was crushed. I didn't know how to move forward. Is this going to be my life? Because every day I wake up and I just feel so depressed and lonely, and I just had a very serious conversation with God, and I was actually upset. Like I started crying and I'm like, I have done everything right. I have given 1,000% of me. I am good to other people. Show me the way because I don't know how to move forward. I am stuck. I don't know how to move forward. And in that moment, I just felt like complete calmness and peace. And I felt like he was there hugging me. And it's still so emotional because I was upset and lost, yet he found me that just let me show you. And so I just literally, I just felt like I just gave up control, and it's all in your hands. And I fell asleep. So the next day I wake up and I think I need to move. I don't know what came up to my mind. I need to move and start all over. So within a period of a few months, the I really fought hard in the divorce for our home because I felt that was my kids' home and they needed a safe place. But my daughter had just graduated from college and my son was in Ohio in another state. And I'm like, why am I fighting for this? So it was so weird. I just felt like all the answers start coming. A home is going to be a home. Wherever you go, you're going to create a new home, right? So sell the house, pack up your stuff, and then decide where do you want to go. You have a brand new canvas, completely blank, and you have to fill it up with what you want to get clear on where you would be so happy. So I was like, oh my gosh, I can start all over. It was unbelievable, night and day. And yeah, I sold the house, packed up. The cats and I came, drove like 20 some hours to Florida and started a brand new life. And now started the business, right? We have a fitness training facility here in South Florida. And we have a boxing team. I never in my life thought that I would have anything to do with boxing, but we have boxers and I love them because I get to work with them and inspire them and help them. I don't do the boxing instruction. We have a coach, but I'm getting to do what my purpose was, helping others feel happier, more fulfilled, fly higher, right? Whether it's athletics or academics, because I'm always giving college advice to the kids. One of my clients said, I love coming because it's a fitness class that I give her, training class. And she said, I love your classes because it's like having a physical coach, but also a therapist. And you just always brighten my day. Like I love, so I guide her on everything that she needs. And that's something that I always try to include in my work. So we have I'm sorry, I'm like jumping all over, but we have the gym and we decided to create my partner and I, decided to create an online academy because we don't want to just help the people in the gym. We feel like we have a voice, as you're talking about, to be able to reach bigger audience, many more people around the world. And his work deals with cancer. When we first started the gym, literally within a month, he was diagnosed with cancer. And it was like, oh my gosh, how are we going to get through all this? Because then he had to have half of his lung removed. It was going to appointments, coming back to the gym, but we got through it. Yes, it was hard, but we got through it. So just keep on moving forward and your life would change drastically. And I'm so blessed and so thankful for everything that I've been through.
That is so good. I totally understand those angry prayers with God, and I'm going through right now. I have a brain aneurysm, and it's only been like months that I know about it. And so now they're working on it and all, whatever they got to do. Anyway, that's beside the point. It's the point of knowing that you can have those angry prayers with God. You can have those conversations. You can be like, I am doing everything that I can do. I'm helping people. I'm doing all of this. You can even be like me and be like, why me? Right? Like, why me?
Yes.
And have those times because God is not a stranger to those things. You read it in the Bible all the time where people are like questioning God and asking, and He's like there for you to drop everything on Him, cry it out. And yes, when you wake up in the morning, when you wake up the
The
next
answer.
day, yeah, it's like He
You do
gives you
have to
those
be willing to
answers.
listen because that's where a lot of people remain stuck because he will show you the answer or the universe, however you want to think about it. The answer will be there. It might be a person that comes like, hey, you can, for example, this opportunity, right, of speaking together. Uh, you can do it. So one thought, no, I'm busy. Or like, no, this is a wonderful, it's a blessing, it's an opportunity. So you have to seize that opportunity. So make sure that you're listening because he's there and he gives you the opportunity, but it's up to you to take the action. It's all about
Right.
action moving forward.
Yep. Like they said, faith without action is dead, right? You can't just have the faith and be like, okay, now what? Because he's like telling you, no, you need to have that movement behind you. You need to have the action behind you. So
Mhm.
that is so good. So blessed that you are there now in Florida. And, like you mentioned, boxing. My husband, he was a Olympic boxing coach. He took the women boxers the first time the women were actually going into the Olympics. He trained them to go into the Olympics.
Oh my gosh,
So,
I didn't know
yes,
that. What was
yes, yeah.
it? Wow.
So
Wow.
the connections are amazing how God puts everyone together, right? So right now, if someone is listening and they feel stuck in fear or pain or limitation, and I know we spoke about mindset, what is one mindset shift that can help them to begin to rise?
You have the power within to get through anything. You and your light in God, if you believe in God. If not, you have that inner light, which I believe it's God, but you have that power to get through anything. And the best thing that you can do is get clear as to what truly matters to you, what touches your soul. And once you get clear, align yourself with the right people that are going to support that growth. Get a coach, get a mentor, listen to other mentors. That there's so much stuff that is free online that you can listen to that is going to give you that momentum to keep going forward. But the single most important thing is that nothing, until you're dead, nothing can stop you. Nothing. You have that power within. And it is not hard because a lot of people see themselves maybe in this super dark place, totally full of gravity, right? Totally crushed. I can't get off. You can, but it's just going to be slow, slow, slow. And before you know, it's almost like a motor. It starts going and then it goes fast and take off. So you have the power within to get through anything. And there are people that are out there that can help you. Always.
Yeah, that is so good. Pay attention, listen, and be looking out for that because like I share this story with a lot of people now is the way that we even met,
Mm-hmm.
right? Like being able to pay attention. I could have just been off and doing my own thing. And when you came on and your voice and you were speaking about the aneurysm, if I wasn't paying attention, it wouldn't have drawn me back to hear everything you had to say. And now we're here together and you're able to like help guide me because I'm going through it now, but you went through it before. And that's the one thing that we mistake all the time is that you don't have to be so far ahead of someone else to help them out. You
Yeah.
just need to be that one step in
One step
front.
back. Yeah, that's what
Yeah,
we
one
always hear,
step
and it is so
ahead.
true. Mm-hmm. It is so
Yeah. And so
true.
that's why it's so good to have this because that's what people believe. They're like, I have to wait till things are perfect. I have to wait till I got it all right. No, you don't.
And I would like
Maybe,
to share this story. One of my latest client, I have the online academy, a coaching program to help you reach higher levels. And this client came to me. We were working on gaining clarity and moving forward and all that, but it became apparent that she really needed help because she really wants to create her own online academy. And I know about that now because I have gone through it. So we were going through the program, but I was able to shift a little bit to help her with that. And she already created her LLC and started on the website and all these things. And had we not started, and it started with something totally different, but now I have been able to help her with that. So that just came with me listening to what her needs were and really tailoring. That's something that I always try to do because we're all at different stages in our life. And maybe we think, oh, I need you to help me with my self confidence, or I need you to help me get unstuck. But really, maybe there's another layer underneath. So that's what I really try to do to help people. And before I forget, because that as we're talking on every single aloha part, I keep thinking that I need to share this with somebody who's out there in your audience.
yeah.
If you recently got a diagnosis and it's a terrible diagnosis, whether it's cancer or lupus, like I have lupus, or a brain aneurysm or diabetes, if you got a diagnosis and you are just trusting what that first doctor told you, that you went to your doctor visit and the doctor said, oh, don't worry, everything, but you don't feel right about it, get a second opinion. Don't just
Yeah.
stay there, because that happened to me, and I would not be here if I had just listened to that one doctor twice. He's the one that told me, oh, you can wait, and I decide we're not waiting, and it was caught on the way to rupture. Second time, I was having some complications, and he was the chief of that whole department. And I thought, wow, he's a physician with all these years, all different specialties and all that. He's an endovascular neuroradiologist, because he's the one that ended up, um, and everybody said he's the best, he's the best. And he just told me, that's your new normal. So what happens? I start having complications, and he's like, oh, you're just going to have to get used to that. I got another opinion. I went to Johns Hopkins and got an opinion from one of the top neurosurgeons, and he said, if we don't operate, you can either go blind or you can die, because there was a problem with the first surgery.
Wow.
So, what I want to tell your audience is to, if you, not to scare anybody, but just empower yourself, because you are going to be your best healthcare advocate. So, if something is told to you and it doesn't feel right, get a second opinion. And if that doesn't feel right, get a third opinion. And never allow a professional to make you feel less than what you're worth. Because I would like to share another story related to when this aneurysm was found. I woke up in the middle of the night and half my body was numb. You know, what's going on? What's happening? And it ended up being lupus. It wasn't the aneurysm. That's how it was found. But I go to urgent care. That urgent care doctor wants to send me to the ER by ambulance. And this is how serious. I've already called the doctor. As soon as you get there, they're going to take you back and do the scan and all of that. I get to the ER, and a nurse practitioner comes in, and she's like, oh, you look great. And I said, well, I'm still having numbing and tingling, and the doctor said that my body was not responding one side or the other. She goes, oh, you look great. We'll just do some labs, and you're probably going to be going home before you know it. So I'm like, wait a second. That lady was saying I'm having potentially a stroke, and this one is saying. So she comes back in. She's like, that's it. We're going to release you. You're doing great. And I said, and I could have just said, okay, I'm great, and I go home, right? And nothing happens. And I said, no. And my ex-husband was a physician in that same group. And then she comes, and I tell her, the last doctor said that I needed to get a scan because she thought I was having a stroke. And she goes, you don't look like you're having a stroke. What are you talking about? And so you're thinking, this doctor said this, she's saying that. And then she tells me, do you know how expensive scans are? And I said, okay. This is a shy person who would never say anything. I said, first of all, this is my husband, and he's a physician in this group. So we have insurance that will cover for that. Secondly, if somebody came and did not have insurance, I work for a hospital system. If they didn't have insurance, you are required by law to treat them. So don't give me that answer. So please get the physician in charge, because he had already been spoken to. Like, they had called him and said, she's on her way, we're doing a scan. So she gets upset, she leaves. Then the doctor comes in and goes, I'm so sorry. Yes, you need a scan right away. Let's go. So that just taught me that, again, my father was a very successful physician to a couple presidents and all this. Um, so I know how the stigma, oh my gosh, they're a doctor, they know everything. My father was a physician, ex-husband was a physician. I've worked in the medical system. We're humans. Every single physician is a human, and they can make a mistake. And it all depends on their training. Maybe it's on the day we don't know. So you're your best healthcare advocate. If something doesn't feel right, get a second opinion and know that you're worth it. Don't let anybody make you feel any less. So I just felt like I needed to say that.
Oh yeah, that was important. That was so important for, people to hear because it happens too often where they get dismissed, and because you're trying to be like, okay, I'm not the doctor, I trust you. But yes, they're
Right.
human.
They're the
They're
specialists,
human.
and we trust them, but they're humans and they can make mistakes.
Yeah. Yep. So that's why I'm getting my second opinion because of your advice and because of, like you said, if you don't feel right, if something's not sitting right with you, don't let it stop you, you know. push forward. So that
Absolutely.
is so important. Thank you for sharing that. That is like huge, huge. And I know that a lot of the people in
My
our
own
audience,
neurologist,
they need it.
when I had gone to that visit in the ER and all that, they consulted with a neurologist and they said, "Oh, the neurologist said you're fine." Actually, went to see her 3 different visits. They did a nerve conduction study. They did all these things. "Oh, this is your lupus. Go to your lupus doctor." She didn't mention the aneurysm. The aneurysm
Oh,
was found on the scan. She did not mention. 6 months later, and that's where God came in. 6 months
mm,
later, I go online Googling my chart because I had an infection in my husband. "Oh, just go in there. I'll call in a medication." I go in there, and the very first thing that pops up in my chart, it wasn't what was at the top. It was what I needed to see. And it was just the report from my aneurysm saying, "You have a medium-sized aneurysm, or more scanning is required." I'm like, "What? This is not mine. I have a brain aneurysm and nobody told me about it." So I call my dad, I talk to my husband, like, "No, you need to follow through." And that doctor said, "Oh, don't worry, it's small. You don't have to worry about it." This is the same one that a few months later, remember? I was on
yeah.
the rupture. So again,
It's like,
this
yeah,
is just important to really stand up for yourself and be your best healthcare advocate.
so good. So the H in health, I mean, in Aloha is health and healing. And God can't heal what we keep hiding. So you integrate science, mindset, and movement in your work. What does true healing look like? Not just physically, but mentally and emotionally.
Well, you just hit the jackpot there. The true healing is not just physically, because we can heal ourselves physically, but our mind is even more powerful. So if we're not doing well mentally and emotionally, all of it comes together. And personally, with all of our relationships, if we're not in an environment that supports our growth, an environment that lifts us, that is positive, that brings light, we're just going to go down. And when you're having problems with your mind, that negative darkness, it has been proven through science that the internal chemistry, your cortisol goes up through the roof. You get all these different inflammation, all these different things happen within your body. So that's super important. So not only take good care of your physical, with your exercise, your nutrition, but really work on that mindset and the connections, all the people that you have. So it's really an integrative approach. All of it comes together. That's why we named our gym is called Unbounce Energy Fitness, but the LLC is Integrative Fitness, because we are big believers that all of it has to come together.
That's so good. You mentioned environment also, because I think people forget that
Mm-hmm.
they're working on their body, they're working on their health, their nutrition, and everything like that. But yet they're sitting in the surrounding that's dragging them down anyway. So they have to remember that it is your environment that can impact everything around you. And I always think of, like you can have this healthy fish in one tank and then you put them in a tank that the water is not good. You'll see a decline in the fish because not the fish that had the problem, it's
Okay.
not the fish. It
I
was
love
the
that analogy.
environment. Yeah.
Mhm.
So,
it,
so
it
good.
is even more important. um, have you ever found yourself in a position that perhaps you're in a job that the environment, and this happened to me recently too. I was at another hospital. I work in a hospital in a microbiology lab, and I was in another lab, and there was a lot of bickering back and forth and racism, and it was just a bad environment. And just going in there, I just felt like you shrank. But then now I'm at a different hospital and everybody's happy and jovial and supports each other. And you're just excited to go, even though I'm working so many hours, night shift and all that. I love it. And that just makes it really injects energy and longevity into your soul. So your environment is huge, huge, huge.
Yeah. Yeah. People need to remember that it's
Mm-hmm.
your environment also. You can be doing all the right things, but if your environment is wrong, things are not going to go right. So, after overcoming serious health challenges, what did you learn about honoring your body and trusting the healing process?
We're just trusting that God has the best plan for you, and every single day is a blessing. As we know, I was given a second and third chance to live. So start that day by being grateful and know that some people don't get that chance. Again, when I work at the
Hmm.
hospital, we see so many sad stories, and it really makes you humble. It really makes you appreciate life that much more. So trust that God has the best plan for you, but you have to be part of that. You create this part. He gives you the opportunities. You take those opportunities, and just keep on stepping forward with kindness, with compassion, with empathy towards others, and your life will begin to transform completely. So you will be healed in all areas, physically, emotionally, mentally.
So good. The last A in Aloha is acute awareness. We were created by the Creator to be creatives. And when I mention create, it's not just physically, but create results, create, different opportunities for other people. We can create because we are made in his image. So, was there a defining moment in your life where you became deeply aware that you were meant for more, that you were created to help others rise?
That 3 a.m. conversation with God, that
Yeah,
that was the turning point. Before, it was all about achieving more, right? The athletics, and then graduating with honors and getting another degree and a master's, all these different things. So it was more about achieving, but it was lacking purpose. And at the beginning of our interview, I talked about that third word, that purpose. That
yeah,
not only, I don't think I have ever in my life worked as hard as I am working now. And challenges have not gone away. But I wake up every single day excited, ready to tackle on the day. And it's because I have purpose. And that purpose is not just Nancy. Yes, I want to be happy. I'm doing the things that I love, competing now, masters track and field, because that was a big dream of mine. That competition again, the Olympics, that was taken away. So now I'm able to do it as a masters athlete. Now I'm in track and I love it. However, there are other aspects that are outside of Nancy that are even more important. So working on me, on what I want to do, but always giving back. And what really was Nancy put in this earth to do? And I really think that it was to lift others, to like, I keep coming back to this thing, light the path for others, teach others to fly. Because we were here, or we were put on this earth to fly, not just to be stuck and sad and depressed, but it's up to us. We've come back again quite a few times to this. It's us, up to us to take action on that. And when you
yeah,
do, align clear on what your vision is, always, because your vision is different than mine and different from my partners. Everybody has different visions, right? So it's just moving forward and in taking aligned action, purposeful steps towards your goal, and just letting go of the fear and doubt. Who cares if people make fun of you? Who cares if it's not perfect? Because guess what? It's never going to be perfect. Perfection doesn't exist. So just step forward and take one more step and one more step, and before you know it, you're going to live like the most amazing life.
so good, so good. So, through Unbound and Synergy Academy and your coaching, how do you help people reconnect to that inner power and step into their highest level?
I have a very comprehensive program. Last year, I became a certified high performance coach. So I already had a program, but through this framework from Brennan Burchard, he is fabulous. He teaches some of the Olympians and world champions and presidents. He's the advisor to so many very successful people. But through his research, he has found that success is not just achieving more in one area. Maybe we want to be a better scientist or we want to be a better athlete. Success is achieved when you're doing okay in all of the areas. So I created a program that deals with that. It's a 3-month long program. And we really go down to finding out what truly is your purpose, your vision, where you want to go. And we start working on all the little aspects. And the transformation, I feel so blessed to be able to do this, because when you get somebody at the beginning that is struggling, maybe on the outside, okay, everything's okay, but you start finding out all these, and there's so many layers. And when you start seeing that, and then they come after the 12 weeks, and oh my gosh, I'm so excited, kind of like what I'm feeling. Every day I wake up and I'm doing this, or I'm doing that, and I'm making a difference. All of them have been towards the end. It's like I am volunteering and I'm donating this, and I created this whole organization to help others, and they have realized that it really wasn't about I always wanted to have that store or I always wanted to have this degree. It was something much greater than they ever imagined. So we discover what that something much greater is, and suddenly they're flying. You know my analogy about flying, because that feeling of, have you ever been in a place where you just feel like you're in heaven, almost like you're floating on clouds, like you're flying, and it's when you're the happiest, right? So that's where I want to take my clients to. And through this 12-week program, I also have a 1 month program, but really the longer 12-week program, we really discover so many different things. And that transformation is, it's such a gift for me to witness that and to be able to be their guide. And
So
speaking now,
good.
we're
Uh-huh.
starting to do more speaking engagements, and I love it because you're able to help that many more people.
Yes, yes. Our voices truly do matter. So, Nancy, when people hear your message, rise beyond fear, perform at your highest level, what legacy do you hope they carry forward into their own lives?
Make the world a better place, make the world brighter. I hope that when I'm gone and people are talking about me, she made this world brighter. That is one of, and she empowered me to reach my dreams. She empowered me to go after what I always wanted to do. And she became the voice of those who either didn't have one or felt like they did not have one. So that's what I hope to. We all want something a little bit different, or our purpose on this earth perhaps is a little bit different. But I want this to be a brighter world, and where everybody felt like their voice mattered.
So good, so important because yes, your voice truly, truly does matter. And what is the best way that people can connect with you? I know that you were talking about the Unbound Synergy Academy. We do have the link down below. Um, and once you click on the link, it does go to Nancy's programs where you can start gaining all of that knowledge that she was talking about. But what else ways can they stay connected with
Well,
you?
thank you for putting that out for me. We have the Unbound Synergy Academy, and that's where my partner and
Mhm.
he works with men, and particularly dealing with cancer, because he is a cancer thriver. He doesn't want the word survivor; it's a cancer thriver. And then I work with women and athletes to help them fly and reach higher levels. And we have our gym on boundsynergyfitness.com. So that's there as well. And I'm also on Facebook, Instagram, on LinkedIn. So any way that you would like to reach me, it would be my honor to be your guide and help you get unstuck, break off those chains of gravity, and then just start flying again, because you deserve to do that. That's why you were meant to put, when you were created, uh, you were created to be able to enjoy life, and also give back to others. So it's just like a circle, comes full circle.
So beautiful. I
Thank
will
you.
have all of those links in our show notes. So we are going live right now on LinkedIn and YouTube. Once I hit live on Facebook, it'll be live there also. I'll put all of those links in there for you. And so anyone who's on right now, if you're wondering, wait, that was a little quick, don't worry, it'll be in the show notes and you'll have all of that information. And once it goes on to Spotify, it'll get uploaded to all of the other major podcast platforms because that is what we
Appreciate it.
do. We want to share in the greatest capacity. So that is so good. So
And I would like
Nancy,
to thank you
uh-huh.
for everything that you're doing, because it's not just my story, but you're bringing to light so many beautiful stories from other people. And I truly believe that together we can make this a better world. And we all go through different circumstances. So one person might need somebody else, and you're bringing that to light. So, so very grateful to you, and you're doing beautiful work.
Thank you. I know that we spoke a little bit before we even got on live about working together and doing something, especially the fact that I'm going through this brain aneurysm right now. You have gone through it. There's other people that we now have met through speaking that they're going through things or have gone through that. So, yes, that collaborative work that we could do together is amazing.
It would be
I've
great.
already done a summit with seven, well, there were seven of us, six other women, and having to create the platforms. There's someone that told me before that you don't have to wait until you're invited to those tables. You can set the table yourself. And so that is what I'm doing now. And I was interviewed and she said, "Oh, Michelle, you have now become the multiplier." And I never heard it in that way, but I had to just bask in that. I was like, "Oh, thank you, Jesus," because I a lot of times you don't see the things that you're doing, especially while you're in the works, right? You're so busy in the work that you don't see it until someone calls it out.
Mhm,
And that's
mhm,
what we can do for others is that while we're coaching, while we're helping them out, we call out the best in them. And they're like,
mhm.
wow, I never even saw that about myself. So thank you so
I know
much for
my
being
latest client told me you are, I can't remember which words, like luminous. And I said, that is the biggest compliment, because she said, when I see you and I hear you talking, you're luminous. And that was the biggest compliment, because to me, I want to light up the world. I want to make it brighter, happier for everybody. And for my client to tell me that, it was just, so I can relate to that. It just, us as coaches, it's not just about the business part of it, right? It's about the
right.
transformation we're able to create in the other people and making them that much happier. It's priceless. It truly is priceless.
It is. It is priceless. And that's where people, you're like, no, as a coach, you don't look at the money part. Yeah, that can help you out, but you're looking at the transformation you can bring someone else. So that is so good. So good. Thank you.
Oh my
And
gosh.
thank you for sharing your story, your strength, and your heart with us today. Everything you said was just so priceless, as you say. Your journey reminds us that adversity doesn't define us, it refines us. And when we choose to rise, like you just, oh, like how you said it so perfectly, we can truly begin to fly, fly, not stay stuck anymore, but truly soar and fly with the eagles. So, with yours is bluebirds. Remember that. So, listeners, Ohana, if this episode blessed you as it did me, share it with someone who needs this encouragement today. Everyone needs encouragement, and sometimes it just needs to be that I see you, I hear you, I'm there for you. And remember that we were created by the Creator to be a creative, and your creative voice is not just verbally. It's how you create anything in your own life that results, the dinner that you made,
Exactly,
everything.
exactly.
Yes,
And no matter what
everything. Yeah,
adversity you're going through, there's light at the end of the tunnel. So know
yes,
that you're not alone, know that you're worthy, know that you're loved, and you're going to get through this. So just remember, you have the
exactly.
power within.
You have the power within and express yourself. Your time is now. So until next time, everyone, thank you for joining us here. Thank you, Nancy.
My
Thank you,
pleasure.
everyone. Keep walking in aloha. keep rising above, keep soaring, keep flying, keep choosing to live limitless and fly higher. So, ahui ho, until next time. This is Michelle Ivala Rosa Kawano, and I am so glad that you joined us because this episode is absolutely priceless.
Thank you.
Mahalo, everyone.